What's up, guys? This is TJ with Celebration Worship. Going to do a quick Ableton tutorial for you. We're just going to go over the basics, cover how to trigger tracks, how to adjust levels, how to change the tempo if you should need to, how to adjust the key to the song if you may need to, and then how to get yourself out of a jam if you find yourself in the wrong view. So starting out with triggering tracks, this is our new way of doing Ableton. I think most of you have already seen it. If you haven't, this is really simple, really easy. We've really streamlined it and we've made it as simple as possible for everyone to operate. So let's dive right in. So to trigger tracks, it's very simple. A lot of you have done this before, but it's just simply key 1 on the keyboard for song 1, key 2 on the keyboard for song 2, and key 3 on the keyboard for song 3. Simple enough, right? So how that works, I want you to know the why behind the what on this is to do that, we do what's called key mapping. So we press this button right here called key, and then we assign the number on the keyboard to the song. Notice how there's a little 1 outlined in orange right there. There's a little 2 outlined in orange right there on song 2, and a little 3. So that's how we key map it. It's very simple. We just push key, and then I go up here and I click 1 and I hit 1. And then I do song 2 and I hit 2. And I hit song 3, I'll click on that, and then I'll hit the 3 on the keyboard and it assigns it. Now the reason I'm telling you this is because I'm going to go ahead and show you. So let's say you walk up on a Sunday and y'all are in the middle of the set. You've already triggered song 1 and 2, everything was great, and you're hitting 3 on the keyboard and nothing's happening. Well, what's happened is either myself or the worship director forgot to key map the song, or when they key mapped it, they forgot to do song 3. So it's very simple to fix that. All you're going to do is you're going to say, hold on one second, and you're going to click key, and you're going to click song 3 right here, and then you're just going to hit 3, and it's going to assign the key 3 on the Mac keyboard to that, and then you're just going to simply press key again, and it's assigned. Now when you hit 3, that song starts.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Very simple. Once again, it's just you hit key, and then you assign the key to the song. So song 1 is 1, song 2 is 2, and song 3 is 3. Pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, the worship director on that morning should be able to help you, but that is pretty much as simple as it gets. Moving on to adjusting levels. So 9 times out of 10, when you walk up to start triggering tracks on Ableton, you're going to already know that the levels are going to be set. They typically have been tested and adjusted by the worship director or myself if you're at Arena. So they've already been tested, they've already been run through, but every now and then we don't really test them through the main sound system. We usually just test them through the in-ears and adjust levels that way. So if we didn't get a chance to go through the main system, what might happen is we may have missed a couple of tracks that actually sound out of place. So the worship director that morning may be listening as they're playing, and they may say, hey, on song 1, this bass track is just too loud. So they'll stop rehearsal, they'll get with the tech guy in the back and be like, yeah, it's too loud, we need to bring it down. So it's very simple to do. What they're going to ask you to do if they don't actually walk over to do it themselves, they're going to ask you to adjust the bass track to song 1. And all you're going to do is go up here where it says bass all. You're going to click this down arrow, and it's going to open up this tab. Now this is all the bass tracks for all 3 songs. Now I color code everything in Ableton to make it very simple so that you never are adjusting or changing the wrong thing because it's all color coded. So we see that song 1 only has 1 bass track right here, and it's color-coded blue. So as we can see, that is definitely song's 1 bass track because it is color-coded to match it. So let's go ahead and play the song.
1, 2.
Let's get to a part where there's actually bass.
3, 4.
So let's say the bass was too loud. Let's say it was like way up here. You're just cranking, just way too loud. You're just going to come over here, and you're going to just pull this slide bar down and adjust that volume until they tell you to stop. And be like, yeah, that's perfect. That sounds so much better. Okay? They also might ask you to mute tracks. If they ever ask you to mute a track, it's simply this orange button right here. So now that bass track is muted. So let's say that you're on that morning, and they say, hey, let's bring that bass track down. You start bringing it down, and they're like, you know what? We don't even need that track. Let's just mute it. That's how you would do it. It's the same for all of these songs. So you open it up, and you have all these tracks for all these songs, and you simply can mute them and adjust the volume to each individual track. Once again, you adjust the volume with this slide bar. That's volume adjustment. And muting the entire track is this orange key like that. Usually they will have done that for you, but if not, I want you to be able to have control and know how to do it. So really quick, just want to reiterate, everything is color-coded. So if they ask you to adjust song 2, and you find yourself doing this one right here, you're sliding this bass slide bar, when you see it, you should be, oh wait, this is the wrong song because song 1 is color coded blue. I should be adjusting one of these two. So then you can get clarity and say, hey, is it the bass track or the synth bass track? And then they'll tell you which one it is, and then it's color coded, and you simply adjust that. And then you come out here, song 3, its bass track is color coded as well. The reason I'm saying all this, some of these tracks will have a good example is if I open up the synth, the keys. Look how many keys tracks are just for song 1. It's crazy how many there are. So you got to be very specific, and they'll tell you which one. They're going to know which one to adjust. So just ask them, hey, which one do you want? And they'll tell you keys 4 or keys 6 or whatever it happens to be, and you'll be able to adjust it or mute it with the orange keys. So we're going to go ahead and move on from this. I know that seems daunting, but it's actually really, really simple, especially when you're in front of the keyboard. We're now going to go to adjusting tempo. So let's say song 1 feels too fast and they want to slow it down a little bit. You're going to click. So to change tempo to songs, you're going to want to do the intro of every song. So you change the tempo by changing it within the actual intro to the song, which is the song 3 count in, song 2 count in, and song 1 count in. That'll always be how the songs start. It'll say song 1 count in, song 2, all the way, however many songs we have. It'll say song blah, 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 and then count in. So you're going to click on it, and you're going to do Command R for command rename. And you see, you click into it, and you use the arrows to go over. That's 140 BPMs. So what I want to do is bring this down to 135 BPMs to slow it down a little bit. So I'm just going to do this, and then type in 35, and then hit enter. And now that song's tempo has changed, slower. You can't really tell 5 BPMs on the fly, but it is a little bit slower. So I'm going to change it back before I forget. But that's how you change tempos. You can do that to all the songs that we do. It's that simple to change the tempo. Hit enter, and you're right back to 140.
1, 2.
That was Command R for rename. Click on the track, Command R, and then you just click within it, anywhere within it, to get yourself where you can control it, and then you use the arrow keys from there, and then you can just delete and then type in, and then press enter. So that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Also, this is a question I get from a lot of the guys that trigger tracks. So if you ever don't know what the BPM to a song is, that's kind of tedious to look into it if you just want to know. So you can push play on the song,
1, 2.
and the song's playing, and it's going to tell you the BPM up here, 140. If you play song 2,
1,
it changes to
2.
175. So I know that sometimes the worship director will want you to start a click after a song is over. That's the easiest way to see what the click is to that song. Just trigger the song, hit song 2 or song 3,
2.
and then look up here. Okay, it's 86, and then you can dial it in perfectly. So that's changing tempo, and that's how to control your BP or see your BPMs. Last thing I'm gonna do is changing keys. This seems daunting, but it's very simple. So anytime you want to change the key to a song, because it's color coded, it makes it really easy. You're gonna go to the top left scene right here, and you're gonna hold Shift, and you're gonna go down to the bottom right scene and stop at that color. Notice how I only highlighted all of song blues scenes, all of song 1 scenes that are blue. So now that I've done that, I'm going to come over here. Now this says Pro right now, but it'll always say Beats when you start out. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click Complex Pro. Then I'm just going to simply click on the transpose button, and we're going to take this down a full step. So I'm going to use the down arrows on the keyboard and go -2. That's a full step. Now we're going to trigger the song and see what happens. Sorry, I typed in something there. Let's just do -2 again. And there we go. Okay. So
1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
you can obviously tell a difference there.
Verse.
Now I'm going to jump it back up. Now I made a mistake here that I didn't realize. Whenever you do this, I got out of habit. I did it the wrong way. So you're not going to want to select the clicking cues, or it'll change the lady's voice and the click, and it sounds weird. So you're going to start with drums and hold Shift, not clicking cues, and then go down. And then make sure it's changed to Complex Pro. And then you can change it from there. So I'm going to go ahead and readjust this for you real quick. This is actually good practice because you get to see me do this a couple times. So we're in -2. There we go. Back to normal. And then to adjust it, you're simply going to come over here to the top drum track. Do the same thing. Just leave clicking cues out. It's saying it's -4 now. That's weird. And then you're going to adjust it back up to neutral, just like that. And then you should be able to start the track out, and it should be fine. Just for practice sake, we're going to do one more of them. So let's come over here to this track, song 2. You're going to do drums all. Hold Shift. Remember, top left track. bottom right. Select them all. Make sure that this is set to Complex Pro. Transpose, we're going to do -2. Okay?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm just going to bump it up in the middle of the song so you can hear the difference.
Intro.
Now remember, 1 is a half step. So if I do -2, that's a full step. So when you adjust it, keep that in mind. Like I said, you probably won't have to do a lot of this stuff, but knowing how to do it is very important. The last thing I want to show you before we're done with this tutorial is if you ever find yourself in this view over here, which is arrangement view, it kind of looks scary and it's really big and everything's all compressed and it's all just all over the place. This is the view that I use to build everything out, so you'll never need to use this. This is only for me to use when I build the sessions. That being said, if you ever find yourself over here, it's very simple to get out. Don't mess with anything, don't touch anything, don't click anything. Simply hit the tab button on the keyboard and it'll take you back to session view where everything's nice and simple, color-coded, and laid out for your convenience. I hope this has been helpful. Watch this as many times as you need to get this down. I promise you it'll help you. It'll make Sunday mornings so much simpler and so much easier. The more you know how to use Ableton, the better, because we're really going to be using this a lot moving forward. So I really encourage you, watch this a couple times. And then maybe when you're on, ask the worship director if you can practice and if you can use what you've learned in this tutorial that morning. Say, hey, I just want to play around and adjust a couple tracks, after service is over, and just kind of get familiar with it. I'm sure they won't have a problem with it because they know the better you are at adjusting things, the easier their life becomes. So I hope this has been helpful. Watch it as many times as you need to. As always, give me a call, shoot me an email if you need anything. I'm here to help. Thanks so much. Have a great one.